Hey guys, it's the Tankmaster here, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video I'm going to be playing Arma 3 and we are going to be testing out the BAF mod, the BAF Vehicles Mod to be specific, as there are 4 sets of mod in this mod selection. So BAF stands for British Armed Forces, and we get vehicles like the Apache, the AH-1, with either anti-tank, anti-aircraft or close air support loadout. Currently it has the close air support loadout, hence the gigantic cannon on the bottom as well as the rockets on the side. So the flight handling of this vehicle is actually fairly good. So they've done well and the model looks very pristine and nice. Next we have the Merlin HC3 and HC4 over there. Now the Merlin HC3 currently selected has the M249 on it. This is a gunship variant that you can get the M249 or the 50 cal guns on it, depending on what you want. I've chosen this because why not? This is a HC3 because the game says it, and you can tell the difference by the HC3 has this green paint on it, however the HC4 has this like navy grey, navy blue paint on it. This is the transport variant and it can transport up to 35 men, I believe. It's got a couple of seats dotted around the back, and I believe it has a 3-seat. No, that's a different helicopter I'm thinking of. This is the cargo version. This allows you to carry cargo such as ammo boxes in the game. Moving on, we have the Wildcat AH-1. This is the transport version again, which a lot of these helicopters have, because how is he going to get your men to battle? This can hold This can hold 8 men, which is a squad in it. As well as 2 pilots, a pilot and a co-pilot, so to say. Now this one is the Hellfire variant with these Hellfire missiles, which we'll see later on, and it can also carry 6 men with a pilot and a co-pilot. So all these helicopters are great things to handle. I absolutely love them. Moving on, we have the MQ-9 Reaper, which uses these Hellfire missiles, if I'm getting the name correct, which has this little radar eye on it. And they use that to find enemies and for it to lock on, so that they know where they're shooting. So I believe the total for one of these missiles came to around 1800 quid or something. So very expensive piece of kit to just be shoving onto planes and firing them to blow up. Right, moving on, we have the Land Rover Panama, which is a mine defense vehicle, or whatever. I've forgotten the name. However, it detects mines using this thing at the front. These two are both drones, by the way. Now, this is converted from the Snatch Land Rover, which we'll get over to in a second. However, all in all, very smart piece of kit, and very useful to the troops on the ground. You can see the Snatch similarities. Right, now, moving on to the manned vehicles, as those are drones. This is the Land Rover Snatch. Now this can carry 6 men in it, including a driver. 4 in the back, 2 in the front by game. It should be able to carry 8 in the back and 2 in the front, however, how it's programmed, it only allows 4 in the back. And you can get this in multiple camouflages, such as desert or NTP. Or tropical, I mean, sorry. Now we have the hardtop variant of the Land Rover Defender. Now you can get this in Arctic or tropical, depending on where you're fighting, I guess. So pretty basic, similar to the Snatch, apart from the fact that it has an open rear. Sorry, no, it has a window at the back, where this one's just completely solid. Now moving on, we have the Land Rover Soft Top Now again, this can carry 4 people in the back and 2 men in front, including a driver. But the interesting part about these vehicles, is you can strip them down. Now I've actually messed up here, and I started the strip down process without being in the exterior, so you can't exactly see everything that's happening. But it looks really weird from the interior view when you strip it down, because everything just sort of disappears. And I guess it looks similarly weird when you're actually in the vehicle. No, sorry, viewing from the outside. But as you can see, big difference there. It removes the doors, the windshield goes down, the spare tyre goes God knows where. The tarp gets removed, this back door gets removed, and I believe that's all that happens. So yeah, interesting to know. When you want to get a bit of fresh air, you can do that. Now moving on, we have the ambulances. Now, although these are bigger than the regular Land Rovers, they're no different to driving the game. Sadly, game mechanics mean that they are absolutely no different. We can actually open the rear doors to see the interior of this. We have 4 bunks for injured crew members, and then a seat for another injured crew or a medic to heal them up. So close that. We have, oh yeah, forgot to mention, they all have different camouflages: tropical, arctic, tropical, desert. Not all of them has arctic, I've noticed, only 2 of them have arctic. Anyway, moving on, we have the Land Rover GMG. You can see there's an M249, however the main gun is a grenade machine gun. Now, this vehicle can hold 4 crew members, including a driver, a commander, a passenger in the back, there on that seat, and a gunner. Now you can get this in tropical or desert, and something I find cool is that there's a lot of stuff on the vehicle to look at, because a lot of the vehicles, for example like this, it's very plain on the outside and you get bored of it very quickly. However, this one, you can have a good old look at it. And something that's also interesting is you can fold up the gunner stand and you can deploy the camo net, which, done like that, however, it makes you wait, because why not? So then you can stick branches and all sorts to make your vehicle camouflaged. And there we are. Also has a snorkel there in case you go water. So, moving on, we have the M249 variant, which has 2 M249 machine guns on it. Exactly the same as those 2. Same camouflages and everything. Same stowage, and they can obviously do the camo net and fold up the stand, however they have a different machine gun. And exactly the same for this vehicle as well. You get a 50 cal on top and an M249 here. Apart from that, everything is exactly the same as the past 2 vehicles. And then, again, exactly the same apart from the fact you get an M249 and a Merlin anti-tank launcher, which is useful. So moving on, we have the Panther CLV. Now, the machine gun on top is actually radio operated if we get into the gunner seat. So at no point does the gunner expose himself. He is free to look at the screen, completely remote controlled. Fire. There we are. So yeah, now I really regret doing that, and I do not have earplugs either, so that's fun. So yeah, we have desert and tropical variants of those as well. Nothing interesting about them. Now here we come to the Huskies. Now there are 2 variants. There is the logistics, which come with these, and you can actually fold these down to see what else there is, I guess, to access them. So we have the grenade machine gun, sorry, the M249 and the 50 cal variants all on top, and these are the logistical ones. And then we have Husky, grenade machine gun, M249 and 50 cal here in the back. and these are the passenger variants. So 4 men can fit in the back, 2 there and 2 here, so altogether 8 men in it. Sorry, 9 men, including the gunner. These ones can only include 5 men, because obviously they don't have the spare space in the back. And they can do many camouflages as well, such as desert or tropical. Now, I'm just curious, there is not anything to do on this particular vehicle, sadly. So, although there is stuff to do on this vehicle, which is the Coyote. Now, there are also logistical variants, such as this. 2 tyres, some jerry cans, some sacks and ammo boxes. And then there are some passenger ones. 4 men in the back, I believe, and 5 men in front up in this cabin area. So the logistical ones can only have 5 men in them, however they can have 9. So again, multiple camouflages, desert and tropical, grenade launcher and 50 cal, and you always need to have more DACA. So there is an M249 right here. Now the stowage, such as these bags, are exactly the same on all of these vehicles, so nothing new there. However, if we get into one of these vehicles, we can actually open the front door, open the left door, and open the rear door, which is actually the middle door. But hey. So you can do those on all those vehicles. And then we move on to the Jackal, which is pretty much the same, although it's got a shorter wheelbase to that vehicle. And it also has M249s on the front for the commander, and grenade machine gun 50 cal on top. Now these again have logistical variants and passenger variants. No? I must have selected the wrong ones. I do believe they have passenger variants though, so that's a shame. You can open all these doors again, and they do come with these 2 camouflage variants. Now, if we go over here, we get to the man trucks. See, look at that, MAN. Now we have the MAN HX58 6x6. We have the unloaded cargo, the loaded cargo, the fuel, the passenger, and the repair. Now these all have a 6x6 wheelbase, so 3 wheels on each side, and they're all men. I'll stop now. And then we have the HX60, which I've done a different camouflage to show you that they can do different camouflages. They can both be interchangeable with their camouflages. But we have the unloaded, the loaded, the fuel, the transport, and the repair. Now, I believe this can hold 4 sets of 8. Hold on, actually, I can show you if I get back in. Now ignore the terrible loading procedure. No, damn. Won't let me move the camera around, which is a shame. But I believe that this one can hold 32 men in the back, and this one can hold 16. So 8. No, doing the math. 8. Yeah, sorry. No, 32 and 16. Sorry for that. Then we have the repair vehicle, which this one has a crane, and this one does not. It just has parts. So cranes are always handy. So it's a shame that that one doesn't have it. Now we move on to the armoured personnel carriers. We have the FV432 Bulldog. Here we have one with an M249, both different camouflage, and a 50 cal, because it doesn't love the good old 50 cal. Now if I ride him back, you can see it's got a fully accessible interior, although you can't move the camera. Nothing interesting to do, sadly. However, if we move to the gunner, oh, it didn't do it. Yeah. Change seat gunner. You can turn out in these vehicles and use the gun, which is always good. So yeah, and you have your own special little turret there on top. Who doesn't love that? So it's a bit different. These one, I believe, is remote control. If I get in as gunner, yeah, remote control. Although it doesn't show. Ah, the screen's there. No, that's not the screen. Doesn't actually show you what the screen is. I think that may be it. But again, nothing different. Just 50 cal instead of M249, and you don't get a special little turret. Who doesn't want a special little turret? Moving on to the FV510s, Warriors, we have completely bare, just regular armoured version. Nothing interesting there. Two different camouflages. Then we have the Cage, which is supposed to stop high explosive anti-tank rounds because they'll hit these bars here and they'll disperse, and all the hot projectile inside of them won't actually do anything to the body because it will have already blown up by the cages. So that's interesting. So we have, again, two different camouflages for that. Then we have the Cage netted version. So as well as being protected from high explosive anti-tank if you do get seen, you can also camouflage yourself so you're less likely to get seen. And then we have the just netted versions, so hopefully you won't get seen by a high explosive anti-tank weapon. But yeah, pretty fun vehicles. You can get in as driver and you can turn out as usual. Not much to see though, apart from your little head. And then if you turn in, you can go to the gunner's seat and you can have a go with this very nicely. Which I don't want to fire too fast, otherwise it'll blow our ears out. Then we have the civilian variant of the Land Rover Defender. We have hard top in blue, green and red, and then again the soft top in blue, green and red. Now the soft top of the civilian vehicles can be stripped down as well, so that is also interesting. Pretty similar to the Land Rovers over there, which you can't see because there's men in the way. Now we move on to the offshore raiding craft. Now this one has a M249 as its front and no rear gun, and this one has a 50 cal. So apart from that, they're identical, but they have different shield lengths. No, they don't, but they have different weapons, which is interesting in a way. So also that water sound you may hear atop of the annoying PC sound, which I'm sorry, I tried my best to block it out, but nothing worked. So anyway, next episode, next video, I shall be reviewing the infantry of the BAF mod, which introduces the infamous L18 rifle, I think that's what it's called, as well as loads more other stuff such as this helmet. But anyway, thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time.